One of the worst feelings in the world is abandonment. And it's what they mocked the Prophet ﷺ early on with and hurt him so deeply until assurance came down from Allah Himself. مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى. Your Lord has not forsaken you. But we don't receive divine assurance through direct revelation like the Prophet ﷺ. But we do in the sense that Allah could have just sent that message through Jibreel without making it a part of the Quran. But when Allah records divine assurance for any of the prophets before, He's doing that for you now as well. But when the pain feels pointless and you can't trace the pattern, your first instinct may be to just ask Allah, why? And as much as Allah has buried His wisdom of His divine decree in a plan that you can't see, nothing of your pain is invisible to Him, no matter how deep you bury it within your chest. إِن تُخْفُوا مَا فِي صُدُورِكُمْ أَوْ تُبْدُوهُ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ. Whether you bury it deep in your chest or bring it to your lips, Allah already knows it. Only He knows the secrets of His plan and the secrets of your heart at the same time. And remember the advice of Yaqub to Yusuf, the father to the son, right before he bids him farewell for the decades of distance after a beautiful dream. It's not like when you take your child to an airport or send them off to school, but before he was ripped away from him in a dirty plot that would unfold in the most unimaginable of places. Yaqub didn't hand Yusuf a map to get home. He handed him the names of Allah. Inna rabbaka alimun hakim. Surely your Lord is all-knowing, all-wise. If you internalize this one single ayah, you'll know how to interpret everything in life that you can't interpret. And Yaqub alayhi salam would have his own test internalizing this. Because while Yusuf was surrounded by strangers, Yaqub was surrounded by family from whom he was estranged. And both he and Yusuf would have to wait to see what this plan was ultimately going to reveal. Al-Alim, the all-knowing, is He who knows it's going to happen before it does. Al-Hakim, the all-wise, is He who allows it to happen anyway, but for a greater purpose. Al-Alim knows what you're going through when no one else does. Al-Hakim knows the purpose of your going through it, even when you don't. Al-Alim knows all the whats. Al-Hakim knows all the whys. And that's why these names are almost always paired together, and why they held Yusuf together during this impossible journey. Another implication of these two names is that He knows all of the alternative histories in your life. He knows what was, what is, what will be, and exactly how it would have been otherwise. So He knows all of the near infinite possibilities of what your story could have been. But this is exactly how your story should play out. There's a greater weaving that you don't see yet, and you don't know what chapter you're in, because you're neither the writer nor the reader. You're the book being authored. And you can't let the intensity of the experience of the difficulties in that plan cloud your trust of His knowledge and wisdom behind that plan. So Yaqub had to hold on to these names himself when his kids called him a crazy old man because he was still holding on to hope after all these years. And he responds and says, أَعْلَمُ مِنَ اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. I know from Allah what you don't know. What is he talking about? Did he know the plan? Or did he mean he remembered the dream that Yusuf shared with him? That's one interpretation. But some of the scholars of tafsir say that he meant by that, I know of Allah what you don't know. My relationship with my Lord is different. I know Him to be Al-Alim, Al-Hakim, all-knowing and all-wise. Yusuf alayhi salam then had to hold on to those names throughout the years of degradation and torment. From the darkness of the well to the prison cell. Those two names sat in his chest like lamps. Al-Alim, Al-Hakim. I don't know why this is happening to me, but He does, and I know it's better for me. So how do I worship Allah now in this situation in a way that He'll be pleased? And when the story curved back and he stood as the leader of Egypt, reunited with his family, he didn't stop at Alhamdulillah in the generic sense. He reached for a name that sometimes you can only really taste after surviving the storm. Al-Latif.